Hello there. This is hopefully the final cut of my rant on mass media and how it's changed from the 60s to modern day 2010s. I kind of got cut off on Google, so let me go ahead and explain that further. As I stated, Google is a company it's a search engine basically that records what you search for, it compiles it, it makes a profile on you, and then it sells it to companies. And they say, hey, they'll come to Google and be like, hey, who's interested in cars? And Google will be like, well, we have these people who are interested in cars, and we also have ways of you contacting them with your product. So, and I also talked about how Google has its own web browser, and the web browser is very effective at blocking out its competition's ads. So and since the browser is so popular, they're effectively removing all competition from them, all their competition, by having a web browser that a lot of people uses and making that web browser block out all ads but the ones put into place by Google. So this is very groundbreaking stuff right now in the 2000s. Now let's go ahead back on down to the internet in the 2000s. Let's see, let me go ahead and get us aligned here. Alright. Internet explodes in popularity in the 2000s. By the end of just the first year, just the first decade of the new millennium, 108 million online users. And in a matter of 10 years, that number will explode in size. So, the internet was entering its domination. Now, you see that big old arrow right there? Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about that. So, yes, my wide erase board is broken. It's very sad. The newspapers today, at the start of this new decade, print circulation at its lowest in 7 decades. Now, what was 7 decades ago? 7 decades ago, we were going through World War II. And during World War II, no one was reading the paper because everyone was working, and all the men who would read the paper were over fighting. We're overseas fighting. So, print circulation is in some serious trouble if it is lower than it was back in World War II. Online papers are doing very well, however, because of all the advertisement going on and because it's so easy to get to. And most of it is free to a certain extent, so it's very popular. Now, this is pretty ironic right here. Cable and satellite TV is in decline, but online television is seeing some serious growth. You guys seeing a trend here? Newspapers doing well online. TV is doing well online. Now, look at this. Thanks to the internet, companies are being more and more precise with the ads and reaching people personally. Okay? See a trend? Internet, internet, internet. Now, so basically, if you look at it this way, TV and, well, specifically TV, is going through the same thing that it did to the newspapers back in the 1960s. It turned it into an obsolete format. People are more and more canceling their cable subscriptions for online services such as Netflix or Hulu. I use Hulu. I don't pay for cable, so it's awesome. Let's see here. So, all of mass media seems to be converging around the internet. So, what did we learn today? Well, just to summarize, from the 1960s to modern day, newspapers have seen a steady decline in their print circulation and the number of companies that own it. Therefore, what is making the companies great, what made newspapers so great, their objectivity and their diversity, locally, is being taken away because of the popularity of the internet. Now, television from the 1960s, it's almost like it's seen its heyday. up until the 2000s, it was doing a fantastic job. People were flocking to it for their information. Now, unless if it's online, television seems to be in some serious decline. So both cable and satellite television are in some serious decline. So television isn't doing so well up until this point. Up to this point, TV's not doing well. Advertising is making a huge shift to the internet. In the 60s, it was all about television. It was all about radio. But now people are, that advertising is going to try and reach the most people that it can. And the largest number of people will inevitably be on the internet. Now, the internet from the 1960s, it has made its way from a simple connection from the Department of Defense to the Pentagon. It's gone from there to connecting universities so scholars and students can collaborate with one another, to a public service that is the world's largest network. It is exploding right now. And in all honesty, we've seen that trend. Here, let me show you. Once again, my big old arrow. Look at that. I mean, it can't get much clearer than that. Online papers doing well from ads. Internet. Online television doing great. Internet. Advertising agencies looking to the internet for their information and to know who to contact, thanks to Google. Internet. See that? All mass media seems to be converging around internet. So, there you go. That is a brief look at television, newspapers, advertising, and the internet itself, and how they've evolved from their humble beginnings or their humble existence in the 1960s on to the condition that they are today, and how they got to where they are today. Thank you. Oh, and I'd also like to thank library.think.com. I got a lot of information from them. It was great. So, yes, and this is Ryan Stewart signing off. Oh, and as Walter Cronkite would say, and that's the way it is. Good night.